The views expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the management and staff of this station.
Another great episode of Perspective, where we have a live and interesting show. We got Pastor Dave Burrows joining us today, and he's going to be bringing us all kind of good news. But before we begin, I want to find out what you ladies been up to. Rose, what's your pleasure this week?
I ain't no pleasure. I have a little concern, and I'm sure it's a concern for a lot of persons out there. BEC.
Oh, yeah, that's a concern.
Okay. Okay, so now my light was off for 2.5 months, right?
Oh, no.
2.5. Okay, 2.5. Then I intentionally left it off for that long because I wanted it to be down to a zero balance. So after I paid it off to the zero balance, the first bill I got from them was for $1,069.
Oh, yes.
Why?
And it was off.
It was OFF.
And you sure you paid it off to
You
the
want
zero
me to
balance?
show you the receipt? It's in my bag.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll show you zero down to the 15 cents.
But Rose,
So
how
what
they
you did?
How to get into that?
Okay, what I did, I went into BEC, got some names from some persons to contact in reference to the concern. So I'm talking with this lady, and the lady laughing. I said, ma'am, this ain't funny to me. And the months I was off were the hottest months of the year, August and September, and part of October.
Yeah.
So it's funny to you because you have light. You don't know what it is to sleep without light.
Yeah.
And the thing with it is, with it being $1,069, y'all could cut me off again.
That's
right. So she said to me, yeah, it could be disconnected. I say, so what's the recourse and how did my bill get to be so high? Well, we've been estimating the bill. I said, but ma'am, how could you estimate a bill with no meter there? She said, no meter was to the house. I said, no meter was to the house.
But they do
I
that,
watched
Rose.
the man
They
take it out.
When I went, my family, we go on vacation. I'm a teacher. So every summer we have off, we travel. Well, I got nobody in the house, everything turned off, maybe the fridge running, but everything else turned off. And my God, light bill higher than when I'm there in September.
Yes.
But,
And they can't tell me why.
but you even talking about the fridge turn off. Reminded me, and I turned on, and it reminded me too. And while I was there, I said to her, back in June, y'all were having a bunch of power surges. I lost my fridge, TV, my microwave, and a coffee pot.
So what they can do with that?
They tell me I must fill out these forms, but because it's been so long and they don't ever pay 100% and all these different stuff, I still don't have a fridge to date.
Yeah.
Do anybody get compensated for these things?
I don't know. I don't
The
know.
friends and family.
But it's affecting families.
Yes,
It's
I am
affecting
so vexed with
communities.
BEC.
We
Tell
have
it's crazy.
BEC, actually, some persons' bills are higher than their mortgage.
Tell me.
And it's making us miserable. I mean, what could we do? I always say to people on a one-to-one, and I wish we could get the nation to do this. I don't know what effect it'll have. But if we as a people learn how to stand in unity, everyone, every business establishment, everybody, cut your light off for 3 hours.
Wow.
And let's see what BEC can do. And how much money they can lose.
It wouldn't, no, they can lose because they can estimate
Oh,
that.
they can let everybody play crazy and don't pay a light bill for 1 month.
Oh, Lord.
Everybody.
But it's
don't
rough.
pay it.
It's rough. It's rough. Now,
And fuel going down.
yeah, but that ain't going
But ain't
down.
no
Rose,
effect to us.
Because we're gonna add VAT on what they done estimate. But anyway, we could talk with BC all day.
All day.
But thank God we under the sunshine. And but anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial break to continue with our topic, parenting and social media. What can parents do to protect their children? Stay tuned.
Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook for behind-the-scenes snippets, prizes, and surprises.
What you don't know is that people like me, our path is riddled with potholes, pitfalls, and a darkness that we hide out of shame. Persons like me make you feel insignificant. We judge you and ridicule you. We never let you forget. We forget to forgive. It was your flaws, your crime, your corrupt heart, your infidelity, your selfishness, your very soul he gave his life to redeem, so that you would never have to suffer under the oppressive regime of people like me.
You are sick. What? Tira, would you please just be quiet and listen to people for once in your life? Barry, that is enough in this house.
What you mean enough? Tira always looking down on this family. I can't take that no more.
If you would like to sponsor the show, please contact us at 392-5741 or email us at greenacrestudios.242@gmail.com.
Welcome back to Perspective, where we're talking about parents and social media and how can they monitor their children and protect their children from what is happening out there on social media. Now, this is a topic that comes home when, as a teacher, I see a lot of my students make mistakes and they go and they shoot videos of their personal parts and they send it to boyfriend or girlfriend, or even and to the point where children are on Facebook and they're going or they're going on sites where they should not be on, exposing themselves to adult topics and I always tell my kids, I say, once you start something, it's hard to go back. It's like you go on that date on Friday night, right? And your little boyfriend buy you that ice cream cone. When you come back to class, all you thinking about was how good that ice cream tastes. And it was soft serve. You ain't focusing on nothing Miss Smith saying. So when the children, when they're at that level and they're exposed to what's going on, mind you, it's a brand new world. It's a different level. But when they're exposed to these things, it's hard to reel them back in. You know, so what do parents do to comfort themselves in the knowledge that, okay, my kids can be safe on the computer. I can trust my kids. And how far can you trust your children? Rose, now your babies are old gray men now. But imagine if you had grandchildren or something. What do you think you can do to control this social media, the cell phone, the internet, all of it, cameras, pictures, where we posting, the responsibility?
See, personally, it worked for me. It was good back then. It's good now. And I say that to say foundation. Because if we train our children the way that we were trained, train up a child in the way he should go when he's old, he wouldn't depart from it. And if you teach your children morals, you teach your children okay, and you show them too, because a lot of times parents, what we tend to do is we preach at our children. We send our children to church. We don't take them to church, and that is when we create monsters. And when you create a monster, it's difficult to kill that monster. But if you nurture that from womb, and you start to say from birth, you are special. You are beyond taking pictures of yourself. You're worth more than this. You're worth more than that. You don't have to give in to peer pressure. When your child goes out, believe it or not, they and you instill in them, you're my child, you're my seed, you're Abraham's seed, and you represent, in the end, you represent Father, Son, Holy Ghost. And this is who they know they are, and they will not stray, believe it or not.
But I guess basically too, we're dealing with self-esteem and all those things. And so you're another educator. We see students all the time, parents, they come, I have children in primary school with cell phone. The cell phone bigger than their whole head, okay? And they're dealing, and they have, when I was in school, I didn't need a phone. I was a woman when I bought my first cell phone. Back then we only used to have them little beeper. but when my parents dropped me to school, so if anything happened, they would call the school for me. They knew where I was supposed to be. And then we went home, and I had a phone, a house line there. So they would call, and listen here, if they had to go out, when they dial that number, you better answer. Second ring, and you better be there. But now it's like it's an extension.
Yeah,
right? So how do you handle that in your classroom with the kids and the parents?
Well, at the same time, all of that is good. But we have to move with the times. We're living in a technology world. I don't think anything is wrong with a child having a cell phone. Once the parent can have access to it. No passwords. If the parent is going to take on the responsibility to check the phone, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. On the phone, not having extra conversations you don't need to be indulged in. I believe that it's okay for parents to make accounts for children, like Facebook, Twitter, if they have the password. Your child should not have access to any technology or website that you cannot go on and check to make sure that they are doing what they're supposed to do.
I agree. However, still, children are children. Listen here, we had no cell phone, but we had land phone. And I remember laying down in the front room telling mommy I doing homework. And she go in the room. As soon as she I got that phone underneath the cover with me. And I like, yeah. Talk. Hold on. I hear the door opening. Oh, this maths, mommy. So, yeah, she gone. All right? Children will find ways. Now, Annette, you have a teenage boy. You have a teenage boy, and so like you said, they networking, they talking. How do you control what's coming in? How do you then sensitize your children to say, okay, this isn't something you should be dealing with? And because especially if the friend's saying, boy, you ain't on that. My son asked me the other day, say, Mommy, you need to get on Kick. I say, Kick what? You know? I really didn't know what it was. He was like, you need to get on Kick. Who's Facebook these days? I say, me. But how do you deal with KJ
with my son? Just like Rose said, it's the foundation. I agree. And I also agree with Sil, it's the change of time. Yeah. We in a technical time, so we have to be on point with that. But it's a matter of watching. You know, and trusting. Once you build a foundation with your child and you teach your child, well, okay, it's okay for you to have that. They need computers to do homework. They need computers to do research. So you allow them. And of course, they can have their Facebook. Mind you, we don't necessarily have to open accounts for them. They're wise enough to do it.
They can open up one for you.
So with that trust between the parent and the child, which should be built, there shouldn't be any issue. I am not speaking 100% for my son, but I try to train him up to be open with me. So whatever he goes into, like we had a situation, and he came and he showed me a situation that happened that needed to be addressed. And it was really off the wall. So because of that, I appreciate him using his Facebook, using his cell phone, because I trust my son. So as parents, we got to play a serious role in building the foundation, like you say, in a home.
Because once you instill those values, though, because even once we explain to them the damage that you posting certain things is gonna have on your future.
That's right.
And even some of the jargons that they use. I remember one time I was doing an interview, and the young lady made a statement, and in her sentence she said "gurn." I say spell "gurn." She said GERN.
That's good.
And I was like, whoa, this is actually what our children, and they're writing on exams these jargons. And when they get an F, they're nothing for the future, because everything now, it ain't who you know anymore. It's what you know. And once you instill in them, this is going to haunt your future. Do you want a future or
when
what?
you talk about that, I always remember, I try to tell the children, I said, listen here, what you put out there for 1 second, you can't take it back.
take it
I say,
back.
and when you have present and future employers looking at your Facebook page, they're looking this way to see what kind of person you are, what kind of
But that's
conversation
why it's
you
called the
have.
web, you know.
and it happens
It's
all
a
the time.
web, and it draws them in, and it's subtle, and that's the devil
we
is
talk
doing his
about
job.
parenting and social media. I'm going to try and change it a little bit. But when you think about growing up, and I'm not saying it was a better time, but we spend more time outside. I got more scars on my knee from climbing guava tree and trying to pick a nap. But these days, the children, when you look at the time that passes by, they on this thing, or they're only 2 fingers. And
They
young
don't know how to
arthritis
shoot
and this.
marble. They don't
Nothing.
know
But
how to
it's the
spin
times.
top.
It is the times.
Hoop.
It's the times. We have to appreciate it's their time now. We
I
got
don't
our
know
own
if it's so
time.
much of times,
Yes,
because when we
it's
go in the
changed.
ghetto, we still have people shooting marble and spinning top.
Well, I ain't see that.
Well, I guess we need to teach our children that social media, any kind, cell phone, computer, all of it, it's a responsibility and it's not a right. And so you have to be careful how you use it. You understand what I'm saying, Sil?
I agree. The thing is, just how our parents instilled certain standards and morals within us. At some point in life, we did things out of what they taught us. The same way we made mistakes, our children today will make mistakes. And it's not in the mistake that we punish them. I think we should show them a learning, like that's just a learning experience. You understand? And I feel as though certain mistakes can be stepping stones, and they can grow from there and teach others about it as well. Because though I wouldn't do certain things in front of my parents, I did it. You understand? Things they will never know up to this day, you know. And I never got caught. But not because I didn't get catch. That means it makes it okay. You understand, from a child that got caught doing
But
something.
you had your parents in your brain saying, "You're a reflection of me. That's why you didn't get caught."
No,
And you did it under the table.
because I know it was not accepted. I know this is not the standard. We don't do this.
But you don't want to do it to the media. That's a difference.
See, that's what I'm going to say now. It's different because I could have done things and it's not out there.
Right.
We have to teach our kids not everything you see, because Facebook says what's on your mind. They post what's on their mind. They post how they're feeling. So it's different when they have technology invading their private space, invading their feelings, invading their minds. So yet again, parents have to come up with a new way to instill standards and morals within their children in the 21st century.
Because you see,
That's the
when you
difference.
deal with social media too, and unfortunately sometimes you have kids who make bad decisions, but you still have to teach your children how to respond to children who do that. Because I make a mistake and then we end up talking about bullying. You understand me? Because okay,
that's
this is
another
what
thing,
you did,
yeah.
and you branch off into something else. But oh my goodness, this topic is a lot. It's a lot. But we'll be right back with Pastor Dave Burrows, otherwise known as the Roughneck Pastor, who tells it like it is. Stay tuned.
This is a brand new show. It's lively, it's entertainment.
We are 5 amazing women. Women of all ages.
Exciting show for women. We don't think the same way.
I'm bringing my perspective.
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 It's lively and provocative.
Whoa. You ain't even saying it right. Lively and provocative.
Stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, where you'll be able to see after show snippets, and you'll get lots of prizes and surprises. Stay tuned.
What you don't know is that people like me, our path is riddled with potholes, pitfalls, and a darkness that we hide out of shame. Persons like me make you feel insignificant. We judge you and ridicule you. We never let you forget. We forget to forgive. It was your flaws, your crime, your corrupt heart, your infidelity, your selfishness, your very soul he gave his life to redeem, so that you would never have to suffer under the oppressive regime of people like me.
You are sick. What? Tira, would you please just be quiet and listen to people for once in your life? Barry, that is enough in this house.
What you mean enough? Tira always looking down on this family. I can't take that no more.
This is a brand new show. It's lively, it's entertainment.
We are 5 amazing women. Women of all ages.
Exciting show for women. We don't think the same way.
I'm bringing my perspective.
Perspective.
It's lively and provocative.
Whoa. You ain't even saying it right. Lively and provocative.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Herspective, and we're now joined by the talented Dr. Pastor Dave Burrows, the Roughneck Pastor. So good to have you with us. And I must say that I applaud you. We are so respectful of your position, and we're grateful to God for where He's brought you to and where He's going to take you to. And of course, we're dealing with children, social media, parenting, and all that stuff. And I want to start. My question to you is, how do you discipline a child who has so many opportunities to network socially, and then is taking away any device, any form of punishment?
Sure. I mean, the world has changed for young people, and we've become a global village. Years ago, when young people communicated, they had to physically communicate by telephone or go to somebody's house. Now you can communicate with anybody, anywhere in the world, just from your phone.
Instantly.
And so it brings a lot of opportunities, but it also presents a lot of dangers. Because one of the problems that young people have, and intrinsic in the development of a young person, is ignorance. Young people have never been here before. And we have to inform them, and not just inform them once. We have to constantly inform them of the dangers ahead.
Yes.
I'll just give you an example. A young lady went to a party. It was a sleepover. And some of her friends just casually took some photos and posted them up on the internet. Well, the photos were innocent. What had happened was they were having a little tussle, and some of the girls fell on each other. But somebody took it, put it on the internet, and say these girls were lesbians. And you can't recover from that. Because even though it's not true,
That's all right. Once it's out there.
it's already out there. So
Yeah.
that's how you have to look at social
Yes.
media. It has a level of danger that we've never seen before. Your reputation can be ruined forever. So whenever you think about social media, anything that you put on social media, expect it to be public. And anything that you put on your phone and you say, this is private for me, also anticipate the possibility that that could become private. So if you don't want it exposed, don't do it.
That's right.
Even if you delete.
It's still there. That
there.
backup
It's
thing
out
is
there. Once it's out
ridiculous.
there, it's out there.
You know,
I mean,
challenge. Raising children is a challenge in itself. And sometimes we have parents who are ill prepared, and we have parents who don't really understand the dangers of social media themselves because they act in irresponsible ways. How can we get parents? How can we educate parents, let's say, in order to make sure that they're guiding their children in the right way?
I tell you one thing that I've done in the parenting seminars that I do is inform parents of what's the proper way to deal with young people, how to discipline young people when it comes to access to the internet. I always tell parents, until a child is 18, they should never have a private computer in a private room.
That's right.
Now, that may seem extreme, but let me tell you why. Let's say a child is 13, and they're in their room by themselves, and nobody has access to it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't leave your child alone with somebody you know who's a pedophile.
That's right.
But if you leave them with a computer in a room by themselves, you don't know what could happen.
We got thousands of pedophiles there.
I'll just give you one example. There was this young lady, she was 13 years old, and she was communicating with this guy who was 14 on the internet secretly in her bedroom. Nobody had access to it. She arranged to meet this 14-year-old boy. The 14-year-old boy happened to be a 40-year-old man who raped her and killed her. So what I tell parents is for young people, for teenagers, they should have access to a computer in a public area.
I agree.
Now, with cell phones, I heard some discussion earlier. That's another thing. We can move over, we can reverse from technology. Technology is here.
It's it.
And things like cell phones, things like tablets, they are with us.
Yeah.
So we can't say, well, we're not going to allow our young people to have it.
They're tools.
But what we have to do is we have to supervise the use of it, and we have to manage it. And we also need to have access to their lives in social media. Every parent should not allow a child to have a social media account unless they have access to it. Simply because there's so many dangers, and there's so many things that young people don't know. And sometimes when you're young, you think you know so much.
Yes.
That's right. And no one can
Until
tell
you
you
get
anything.
older. And when you get older, you say, boy, I was so stupid, and I made some, I put myself in danger. So we have to manage their access.
Yes, we do. And we're going to We're going to stop right there for right now. I can't wait to hear what else Pastor Burrows has to say on this topic. Parents and social media, children and social media, the Bahamas and social media. We'll be right back after this next commercial break.
Want more of the show? Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
What you don't know is that people like me, our path is riddled with potholes, pitfalls, and a darkness that we hide out of shame. Persons like me make you feel insignificant. We judge you and ridicule you. We never let you forget. We forget to forgive. It was your flaws, your crime, your corrupt heart, your infidelity, your selfishness, your very soul he gave his life to redeem, so that you would never have to suffer under the oppressive regime of people like me.
You are sick. What? Tira, would you please just be quiet and listen to people for once in your life? Barry, that is enough in this house.
What you mean enough? Tira always looking down on this family. I can't take that no more.
This is a brand new show. It's lively, it's entertainment.
We are 5 amazing women. Women of all ages.
Exciting show for women. We don't think the same way.
I'm bringing my perspective. Perspective.
Perspective.
Perspective.
Perspective. It's lively and provocative.
Whoa. You ain't even saying it right. Lively and provocative.
Stay tuned.
Every child has the right to be safe, to freedom, to equality, to dignity. But no child has the right to be subjected to abuse. If you suspect someone is being abused, or if you are being abused yourself, speak out. Tell someone you trust. Now, there are many resource units you can call if child abuse is being suspected. These include the Child Abuse Hotline for Nassau and Grand Bahama, Child Protective Services, the Christian Counsel Center, the Police Victim Hotline, the Crisis Center Hotline for Nassau and Grand Bahama, or simply call 911. There is no excuse for abuse.
Welcome back to Perspective. And we've been talking with Pastor Dave Burrows, the pastor of BFM. And it's really interesting to think that technology has changed so much, Pastor Dave. One of the things that I really would like to know, though, back when you started in the 80s, when the charismatic movement, was coming in to the church, those of us who would have been born in the 60s, of course, we grew up with the brass hand, the knuckle bracelets, and all these different stuff. It didn't kill us. It worked. It kept us. Many of us it kept. But how is it, and how would you respond to people? And you've had so much adversities, and I applaud you because you didn't allow the naysayers to stop you from doing what you knew your purpose was. Mm-hmm. And that is what I respect most, I guess, one of the, highly about you, because when we would have been told, oh, this kind of music ain't acceptable, or this dress code is not acceptable, and now we seeing it, and we hear Kristen Massive now singing breast, leg, and thighs because the women come into church dressed any kind of how. But back in the 80s when it really was, be thou holy for I am holy, and then you came in with this roughneck, and you came in with this, you know, the young people just gravitated to you. I mean, but you didn't change your standard or the message of the gospel. But how did you win them?
Well, Jesus made a statement. He said, go into all the world and preach the gospel. But he never gave instructions on how to do it. So he figured we would be smart enough in our environment to present it to the people we're trying to reach. Yeah. In my case, I didn't come from church. I didn't grow up in church, other than when I was young. I stopped going to church when I was 12, and I never intended to go back to church. So when I came into the church, I came into the church from the streets. And so what I tried to do was I tried to reach people who were like me.
And how old were you?
When I came into the church?
When you came back?
When I came back to the church, I was about 20 years old.
Okay.
I spent my teenage years, you know, just doing a lot of negative things. So when I came into the church, I tried to reach people who were like me. And I realized that the language and the presentation that the church was using, it wouldn't relate to me. So I know it wouldn't relate to them. So what I tried to do was I tried to take elements of the culture that young people related to and just take the message of the gospel and put it into the mediums that people accepted. If you want to reach somebody who speaks French, it doesn't make sense to go talk in Spanish to them because there'll be no communication. The young people at that time, I realized the music was different, the culture was different, and so I used things that they already related to. You know, you had hip-hop music ascending in that time, you had reggae music, and all of these forms of music are not intrinsically negative.
No.
It's just like a knife. You can take a knife and you could stab somebody, or you could make a meal.
Exactly.
Reggae music, rap music, they are beautiful tools. What happened is that most people had been using them negatively, so we
connotation.
Yeah, we gave the whole medium a negative connotation because of what people had been doing with it.
So, Pastor, then, in terms of social media, how can we then take social media and spread your message? How would BFM take social media? How would you use the cell phones, the computers, the internet to then not so probably gear the children toward the positive side, the helpful side? Because we know that it's a tool, it's a necessary evil, so to say. And so how do we gear children into going to find the right message on the internet?
Well, I'm developing something with young people today that I'm calling digital missionaries.
Okay.
So we live in a digital world, and people are communicating through YouTube, Instagram, etc. The same way we can go and do sexting and all kinds of stuff on the internet.
Spread the gospel.
We can spread the gospel. We can give positive messages. A lot of the music of today is really, really good music, but bad message.
Yeah.
So if you change the message, then you get good music with good message. And sometimes we tend to back away from something that somebody did bad and think that the thing is bad, when what was really bad was their message.
The content,
You know? So I'm trying to get young people today to understand that the same way you used to physically go and talk to people, you can go on your phone and you can send out a text to somebody in the morning, and you can say, you know, have a good day. Today is the best day of your life.
That's right.
You can send a positive message, a positive confession, and that same little positive confession can enlighten somebody's day and it can make their whole day brighter.
That's right. I have an aunt like that, Annie Palm. She sends me a good morning and I love you, and you can do whatever you want to do today. The world is yours every single morning. And some days when you're feeling low and you get that, it's like, oh yeah, I needed that. But we want to get to know Pastor Dave a little bit better, but we'll be right back with her perspective in a few moments. Stay with us.
Want more of the show? Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook for behind the scenes snippets, pictures, bloopers, and more prizes and surprises than you can imagine. Perspective, the place to be. This is a brand new show.
It's lively, it's entertainment.
We are
5 amazing women.
women of all ages.
Exciting show for women.
We don't think the same way.
I'm bringing my perspective.
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 It's lively and provocative.
Whoa. You ain't even saying it right. Lively and provocative.
Stay tuned.
What you don't know is that people like me, our path is riddled with potholes, pitfalls, and a darkness that we hide out of shame. Persons like me make you feel insignificant. We judge you and ridicule you. We never let you forget. We forget to forgive. It was your flaws, your crime, your corrupt heart, your infidelity, your selfishness, your very soul he gave his life to redeem, so that you would never have to suffer under the oppressive regime of people like me.
You are sick. What? Tira, would you please just be quiet and listen to people for once in your life? Barry, that is enough in this house.
What you mean enough? Tira always looking down on this family. I can't take that no more.
Welcome back to Perspective, and we are having a very lively conversation with Pastor Dave Burrows, the Roughneck Pastor, and we know that Sylviane has a question. Go ahead, Syl.
Okay, Pastor Dave, how do parents learn about social media if they lead busy lives?
Well, social media is all around us. You can do really simple things. Just go on your computer and just Google. Actually, the best way for parents to learn is ask their children or ask their friends' children, because sometimes your children
crazy, yeah.
What if the parents are not tech savvy? And
They
what if
gotta
they
get rid
really
of-
don't want to? Because you have some older folk who don't want to
learn, which
Well,
is true.
it's a choice. The way the world is moving, the digital age that we're in, even older people, I find, are understanding that they have to use technology.
Somehow, yes.
And there was a grandmother that I was talking to the other day, and she's going on Facebook for the first time, and she was saying, why would I want to be on Facebook? So I said to her, do you have friends you haven't seen in a long time? And then she had a smartphone for the first time. I said, what you going to do with your pictures? Just show them to yourself? Yeah. So I said, that's what Facebook is for. So we have to educate the older generation to understand that the digital age also benefits them.
Yeah.
And as they benefit from it, they are exposed to what the children are exposed to, and then they can better interact with their children, and they can also advise.
Yeah.
So it's a learning process.
And especially when it comes to you being a parent, I mean, you should be knowing about the media. But you say in Pastor Burrows that it's okay for children to be in a part of social media once it's controlled by parents.
Absolutely. See, the thing about it is that you can't stop it.
Yes.
And even if you control social media in your house, when the child leaves, they borrow their friend's cell phone. They can have one profile that you know about, and then 5 other profiles
that you don't.
with a false name and everything. So it's something that you cannot prevent them from accessing. So if you can prevent access, then you need to guide, direct, and protect them from the abuses of that access.
And learn as a parent.
And we have to educate. The good thing for a parent is that the more the parent knows, the more accurately they can talk to their child. When you're ignorant is when it's most dangerous. So a parent should learn about social media. One of the things that I've done ever since I've been involved in working with young people is that I do research. I will go on the internet, I will listen to kids, I'll find out what's happening in their environment.
That's right.
And then it's not just for me to have that information. I'm using that information to give them direction. So, for example, if they tell me, if I find out about a particular artist, I'll sit down with the kids and I'll say, tell me what you think this artist is saying.
Yeah.
And they'll be surprised that I know about the artist. And they already know that I know the lyrics from that artist. And so sometimes they'll be embarrassed. Let me give you another example. I had a group of between 11 and 15-year-olds, and I was sitting with them, and I did my research on Grand Theft Auto, and video games are big now. And so these are kids who were in church, and I said, how many of y'all play Grand Theft Auto? And about 95% of them raised their hand. So I said, do you think I should get a copy of that?
No,
so they said, no,
that ain't for you.
I said, why?
That is.
They said you wouldn't make it past the opening screen.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
what the kids told me. But, it got me into their world and it started a discussion. So if you don't want me as an adult to view this, and you're saying that y'all who are teenagers, right?
That ain't for you, that's for teens.
So it started out a discussion. You know?
Yeah.
And so I was able to tell them, I said, this type of stuff is written and programmed by people who don't like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you're going to play a game where you have to run over people, shoot people, slit people's throats, sleep with a prostitute to get points.
And the children carry this over into the real world. And that's why we're dealing with what we're dealing with, because they believe that this is the way. But Pastor Dave, I know Anna got some questions to find out the Bahamian side of you. You got to answer these questions quick, fast, and in a hurry. No thinking. Got to be on the go. And she ready. Let's see.
1 second.
Well, let me just say it was a pleasure having you on the show, and you presented a thought-provoking thoughts for us and educated us, even as me being a parent.
We could talk about this all day. Yeah.
Because even though before you get to that, Antoinette, Pastor Dave, something you said when you talked about the Grand Theft Auto with the video automatically came to mind what Soph talked about. We have so much of our young people, I think, committing crimes, and they are actually in a virtual reality world. I mean, that's a show all by itself. Though, so That's not different.
But we'll talk to him again.
It's provoking, and I'm thinking we need you again.
This is an ongoing topic.
All right, let me take notes now.
Yes, Pastor Burrows, stand by for this. Now, what's your pleasure? Some people say, what's your guilty pleasure? What's your pleasure? Conch salad or group of fingers?
I think out of those two, I would say group of fingers.
Good man. Chicken in the bag or fried fish?
Fried fish.
Regatta or homecoming, sir?
Probably homecoming.
Boat cruising or fast ferry?
I would say boat cruise.
66 Steps or the National Art Gallery?
Probably National Art Gallery.
Okay, let's hear this. Guava Duff or Johnny Cake?
Say,
I would say guava duff.
Very good.
Difficult choice.
Pastor Dave, it's really been a pleasure. I must tell you, I have been honored. This is the first time that I have met you personally, and I am not disappointed at all. And one thing I want to say from the gang here at Her Perspective, we do extend our condolences to you and the BFF family, and we're praying for you guys, and we pray that all you do is succeed and continue to live Dr. Monroe's vision, which is to continue to walk in your purpose, sir. We applaud you, and I look forward to having you back again. Me personally, I'm sure the other ladies share the sentiments, because our children are our future. We can't run away from it, and we need people with passion who love our children in order for us to love them to life.
Yeah.
You know, some people love children to death, and a lot of people love people straight to hell. But we need to love them to heaven. We need to love them the right way.
Yes.
Teach them the right way. You don't have to conform to everything to fit in. And so I look forward to having you again, sir.
Thank you. It was my pleasure
Thank
being
you
here.
so much.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Rose done send all the blessings from heaven, and we taking them all. Oh, stay tuned. We'll be right back with the rest of her perspective.
Want more of the show? Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook for behind the scenes snippets, pictures, bloopers, and more prizes and surprises than you can imagine. Perspective, the place to be. This is a brand new show.
It's lively, it's entertainment.
We are
5 amazing women.
women of all ages.
Exciting show for women.
We don't think the same way.
I'm bringing my perspective.
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 It's lively and provocative.
Whoa. You ain't even saying it right. Lively and provocative.
Stay tuned.
What you don't know is that people like me, our path is riddled with potholes, pitfalls, and a darkness that we hide out of shame. Persons like me make you feel insignificant. We judge you and ridicule you. We never let you forget. We forget to forgive. It was your flaws, your crime, your corrupt heart, your infidelity, your selfishness, your very soul he gave his life to redeem, so that you would never have to suffer under the oppressive regime of people like me.
You are sick. What? Tira, would you please just be quiet and listen to people for once in your life? Barry, that is enough in this house.
What you mean enough? Tira always looking down on this family. I can't take that no more.
Welcome back to Herspective. Remember that you could like us on Facebook at Herspective, hit us up on Twitter at Herspective242, and Instagram Herspective242. And we've been talking with Pastor Dave Burrows. And now, ladies, we just want to discuss, what did we learn? Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Well, I've learned that we have to constantly be inform our children, once allowing them to have cell phones and access to computer. We have to constantly inform them to, and also we have to have access to an open area, public area, where they wouldn't be secluded to their bedroom to do what they need to do, because we have persons out there seeking to whom they may devour.
Well, we know that social media, being on social media, having cell phones, that's a responsibility.
Yes.
And it's not a right. Parents need to know that. It's not a right. And that if you're going to allow your children, just how you monitor them with the knife in the kitchen, what father say, and whatever, you have to monitor them. You have to control what they're watching, their input. All right, whatever those children put inside is going to come out.
That's right. Garbage in, garbage out.
And so,
That's
every day, and we have to teach them the responsibility and understanding, because not everybody's going to know what's going on. And when people make mistakes in the world, we have to let them know that, you know what, let's not bully them on that. Let's understand that they made a mistake and we got to overcome that. Do you understand?
Yeah, one of the things that I took away from what he said was when he spoke about the parents, when Sylviane asked a question, and he said, as a youth director, he went on the social media, or he went on the web, and he would pull up certain artists. So he knew who 50 Cent or these different people were.
50 Cent.
So,
Stay right there.
Okay.
Rose on
no,
point.
but you see what I'm saying? So we need to know what our children are listening to. We need to know how the music telling them, go shoot that one, go kill them, so we could stop it and explain to them why this is not good for you. So, and it's so much aspects of what he said that just could lead to other things because we are talking about our next generation.
And the topic
these
is
are
vast.
the ones that we need to invest everything in, because the older ones are moving off the scene. We're moving off the scene. So we have to bring up sensible children.
That's right, and we got to flow with the times.
That's
Right, Sil?
I agree. Well, for me, I learned that at the end of the day, we have to grow with the times. We have to accept it. And we just have to find creative ways to monitor our children and still let them know that this is the standard and this is what I expect from
Now,
you.
when we say accept, though, Sil, that could be broad, because I accept in every foolishness some of these.
But we got to realize,
Well,
because just like he
Tech is
said as well, agreed, and we have to
we
move
looking
with
at
those.
technology now. That's what I'm talking
we have
about.
to.
Not
Not the content.
Yeah, I don't know where your mind went.
No, because some young people, and then we have some persons who train in these young people who actually accept every foolishness young people say or do.
You just
So
you are the parent that instills certain things in your children, and you have other parents that instill certain things in their children. You
All
understand?
of us as parents have to do our
But with the
end of the day-
technology, I totally agree,
At the end
100%.
of the
Because
day-
it's there, and it ain't
It's
going
there.
nowhere.
Yes. All we
It's
have to do
only
is
going to
supervise and
evolve,
do
evolve,
supervision.
and evolve.
Yes.
And just like he said too, and we know this from being parents and not even being parents. When we first started to walk, we fell a lot of times. But we had to pick ourselves back up and try it again. So it's route rehearsal, and we have to keep saying to them, honey, you can't do this because this is the outcome of that. And just how he brought so much examples of the 13-year-old who thought she was talking to a 14-year-old, and it was a 40-year-old who killed her.
And
raped
the
her,
real
killed
world
her.
isn't
The
nice.
Exactly.
It nice.
That is what we need to teach our children. Because a lot of our children are so sheltered
They're naive.
and they're so loved in their home that when they come out to the real world and they meet the real people is...
Okay, so ladies, we can all agree that we had an amazing show today.
Yes, we
And
need
we
to
would
do it
just like to
again.
thank Pastor Dave
Yes.
Burrows for sitting in, being our guest on the show. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned to Perspective and see you next time. Bye.
Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, where you'll be able to see after show snippets and you'll get lots of prizes and surprises. Stay tuned.
The views expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the management and staff of this station.